Hello friends, my name is Kumar and welcome back to our channel KUMAR Programming. This is the 33 part of this series where we are building an e-commerce project as online shoe store in Next.js 15 and React 19. In this session, we are going to integrate our PayPal payment in our application where we are going to do setup for our PayPal sandbox, and also we are going to create our PayPal button by using react.paypal.js library, and after that we will configure our PayPal API methods like generate access token, create order and create payment. And once it is done, then after that we are going to create our PayPal server action and we will hook up our PayPal button with these actions. Right now, let me quickly show you in our production environment how this PayPal payment is going to work. So this is our production environment where already I am logged in and I have added few items in the cart, and the total price we have here $4.13. Now proceed to checkout, and here this is the shipping address page. Let's continue with this. Here payment method is selected as PayPal. Now continue, and this is our place order page where user can place their order. So now place the order, and once place this order, then order ID will be generated. See this order ID generated, and here inside our URL as well we are seeing the order ID, and here we can see the PayPal payment button on the basis of their payment method selection. Now proceed with PayPal payment, and here I'm going to proceed with my PayPal account login. Now if you see here, the PayPal intent is created, and here we are seeing this total amount is 4.55 USD, which is going to be converted in pound as 3.62. And here I'm going to select with pay with PayPal balance, and now complete this purchase. Now if you see here, payment has been done, and here we are seeing the message as paid at 25th of March 11:35. All right, so this whole PayPal payment method that we are going to implement in our today's session. And now let me quickly show you that what all the steps that we are going to follow for this implementation. So here are the steps that we are going to follow. The very first step, we are going to create our PayPal sandbox setup where we are going to create our application and we will create our personal and business account. And after that, we are going to create our PayPal button by using react.paypal.js library. And after that, we are going to configure our PayPal API where we are creating a function in order to generate our access token. And also in our PayPal, we are going to create order and create payment by using our intent. And once this whole PayPal API configuration is completed, after that, we are going to create our PayPal server actions and we are going to hook up these server actions with our PayPal button. All right. So now let's start implementing it. So in order to implement PayPal, first of all, we have to create an account inside PayPal. So you have to go to the developer.paypal.com, and here you need to create an account. And once this account will be created, then you will be seeing here a sandbox mode, right? See here, as of now, this is sandbox mode because we are as of now testing. But once you are going to live your application, then you have to make it live. This sandbox and live both are working very similar. The only difference is for the live you are going to have the actual payment, and in sandbox you are going to have only fake payment. Okay, so once you have created your account, here you would be seeing your app and credentials. Now go to the app and credentials. So here inside our app, by default one application would be created as a default application, and if you want to use this, you can use this application. Otherwise, if you want to create another application, you can create another application from here by selecting merchant, right? Since already there is a default application already created, so I'm going to use this default application. And if I go inside this default application, I would be seeing here, see here, this is my default application and this is my client ID, application client ID and application secret key, which is I'm going to use in my .env file, right? And once you have configured your default application, after that you should go to the testing tool and sandbox account. And here you would be able to see two accounts, and that accounts are being generated by default. The first account is a business account and the second account is a personal account. So this is the payment receiver or the business account, right? And here the personal account who is going to purchase the item. So money is going to be moved from personal account to business account. And if you see here inside our business account, for your business account, you can get your email ID and password from here. And here you can set up your PayPal balance. See here, as of now in my business account, I have total 6000 GBP. And if you want to update it, you can update it from here. See, you can update it very easily. So this is our business account, right? Now let me show you the personal account. And this is my personal account, right? Now And this is the email ID for personal account and password, which I'll be using once I'll be doing the payment, right? Now, if you see here we are seeing this total amount as 4,996.38 pound, right? So let me change it. Here I'll be updating it as a 5,000. Okay. Now save it, right? So once you have done this configuration inside our PayPal, then after that it is ready to use inside our application. Now let's use our PayPal client ID and PayPal client secret in our application. So here in our app and credentials, we can get our this is our application ID and this is our secret, right? Now let's use this client ID and secret inside our application. So here inside our application in .env file, here you can use variable as PayPal client ID and PayPal app secret. And also one more variable we have to define over here as PayPal API URL, and the value for the PayPal API URL will be api/m.sandbox.paypal.com, and this URL for our sandbox environment. And once you are using your production environment, then you just have to remove this sandbox from here. Okay, since as of now we are using our sandbox environment, so we are going to have this sandbox. Now we will have this client ID and secret from our application. So this is our client ID. Let's copy this and we will paste our client ID over here. And now we are going to take our secret, copy this, and we can paste it over here, right? So in our environment file, we created three variables: PayPal API URL, PayPal client ID, and PayPal app secret. These three environment variables are going to be used inside our application. Now the next step, we are going to create our PayPal button by using our react.paypal.js library. So we will install this react.paypal.js library and we will create our PayPal button. So this is our React PayPal.js library, which is used to seamlessly integrate our payment with PayPal. Now we are going to use this library. So first of all, we need to install this. Now let's open a terminal over here and install our React PayPal.js. So now this library has been installed. Now we are going to create our PayPal button inside our root, order, and order table, right? You remember that we created our order table, and here at the right side, right after our all the price information, we are going to create our PayPal button. So here I'm going to give the comment as PayPal, right? And also here we are going to implement our Stripe payment as well. So here I'll give another comment as Stripe payment, and also we'll be having our cash on delivery payment, right? And accordingly we will implement our PayPal, Stripe, and COD. So here, so inside our PayPal payment placeholder, here we are going to check if each paid is false and our payment method equal to PayPal, right? Equal to PayPal. Then we are going to create our PayPal button, right? And inside this bracket, we are going to take a div, and inside this div, we are going to implement our PayPal button. And now let's see how we can implement our PayPal button. So here, if you see in the documentation, first of all, we need to install this React PayPal.js library, which we have already done. Now we need to import these things, import PayPal script provider and PayPal button. So now let's import this. Here at the very top, we are going to import, and now we are going to use our PayPal button here. Now let's see how we can implement our PayPal button. Here I would like to see option along with the PayPal action button. Yep, see here, this is the PayPal button is being implemented inside our PayPal script provider. Now let's copy this and paste it here. So here we need to pass our client ID, that PayPal client ID. And the second thing, if you see inside our PayPal button, we have to pass two events as create order and on approve, right? This is to create an order inside the PayPal, and once order is created, then we have to approve that order. And once the order will be approved, then our money will be deducted from the account. Now for the time being, I'm going to comment this that we will implement it later on. Now let's save it. And also we need to pass this client ID, right? So here, as of now it's test. So we are going to pass our client ID, which we have created in our .env file. So I'll get that variable from our constant file. So here constant, and here I'm going to create another variable. Here I'll take three variable, and the first one we have as PayPal API URL. PayPal API URL. Initially I'll pass it blank, and here, and the second variable is PayPal client ID, and third variable is PayPal app secret, right? Now we are going to use this PayPal client ID. Now we need to pass our PayPal client ID over here. So what we will do, inside our order detail component, we will pass our PayPal client ID. So inside the prop, we will pass another attribute as PayPal client ID. And inside this, we are going to pass our PayPal client ID from our constant file, right? And this needs to be imported from our constant file. And now this PayPal client ID needs to be passed inside our order detail table component. So here, this PayPal client ID and the type of the PayPal client ID would be type of string. Now we need to pass this PayPal client ID right here. Right now, let's save it and see if we are able to get our PayPal button. So here, this is our local host, and already I have logged in. And now go to the cart, and here inside the cart I have added couple of items. Now proceed to checkout. Now it's redirected to the shipping address page. Let's continue. Now it will redirect to the payment method. So now here we are at the payment method page, and here by default payment method as PayPal is already selected. Now let's continue. Now it will redirect to the place order page. Now this is our place order page where we are seeing our shipping address and payment method as PayPal, and whatever the items that we have selected in our cart, we are able to see over here. And now at the right side here we are seeing all the price, and this is the total price 175.98, right? Now place order, and this is going to create an entry in our order table. So now if you see here, order ID is created, and here we are able to see our PayPal button. But here we are seeing this and sign and bracket. Okay, let's see what is the issue. So here we have our condition, right? And then, oh, sorry, here we need to put this condition all together, right? And we don't need to give this curly bracket over here. This would be the closing bracket right here. Okay, if each paid is false and payment method equal to PayPal, then we are going to show our PayPal button. Now let's save it and see our browser. Yep, perfect. Now we are able to see our PayPal button. But if you notice that this PayPal button is taking some time to load, let me refresh this and show you. See here, if you see my all the details will come first. See, my all the details came first, but still our PayPal button was not loaded since this component is taking some time to load. So from the user experience perspective, we should be showing here some kind of spinner till the time this PayPal button is loading. So now let's work on that. So here if you see inside our documentation, here they have provided a use PayPal script reducer, right? So, and they are returning it from this hook, they are returning each pending, right? And there is a one more each rejected also coming from this reducer. So two things are coming, each pending and each rejected. So I'm going to use this use reducer and we will implement this spinner here as well. Okay, now let's do that. So what I'll do here, I'll create a small component here and I'll use that small component here right before our PayPal button. So let's create a component. So here I'm going to create a very small component as PayPal loading state. So here const PayPal loading state, and inside this I'm going to pass a fat arrow function, and inside this fat arrow function I'm going to use my PayPal script reducer. See here, this is the syntax. Let's use this here, and here we have each pending and we have each rejected, right? And let's import this from our PayPal React PayPal.js. Now here we will check if it's pending, then simply we are going to return inside our React fragmentation. Here I'm going to return a div. I'll give the class name to this div as flex gap of 2 and justify center text center. Okay, text center, and inside this div we are going to use our loader icon. Okay, class name I'll give width 4, height 4 and animate spin, right? And we will give the text as loading PayPal. Let me close in this way. Fine. And here loading PayPal, right? And this loader needs to be imported from our Lucid React. And this is the condition where when it's pending, when it's get rejected, then here we are going to check else. If is rejected, then we are going to simply return. I'll copy this entire thing and I'll paste it over here. Okay, and here we are going to simply return as error while loading PayPal, right? Now let's save it, and we are going to use this PayPal loading state component just before our PayPal button. So this is our PayPal button, and right before we are going to use this. Okay, Now let's see inside our browser. Now let's refresh this. Now if you see here we are seeing our spinning screen and loading PayPal, and after that our PayPal button is loaded. Now we will do our PayPal configuration, and after that we will create our PayPal server action, and we will hook up our PayPal server action with this PayPal button. Alright, so now let's do that. Now we are going to create our PayPal configuration, where we are going to create mainly three functions. One is generate access token, and then generated access token is going to be used inside our create PayPal order and create payment. So mainly in PayPal API, we have two methods, create order and create payment. Create order is used to create an order inside our PayPal, and then by using that order ID, we are creating the payment inside our PayPal. So mainly two APIs are being used, and in order to use both of the APIs, we must have to generate the access token, because that access token is getting used inside both of the methods. So now let's start our configuration first, and let me show you quickly here the documentation which I have been used. See here, they have provided a PayPal integration checkout YouTube video, where they have provided a step-by-step guide on how we can integrate our PayPal. And here they have given the source code on GitHub. So if you go here and index.js file, here you will find the code in Node.js, but similar kind of code that we are going to write in our Next.js as well. See here, this is the generate access token function, which is getting used inside our create order, as well as this will be used inside our complete order, right? In both of the function, get access token is getting used. And if you see here, inside the get access token, they are calling this v1 OAuth2 token API, where they are passing this method post, they are passing their header, and inside the authorization, they are passing this base64 value for client ID and secret, and here they are passing data in the body as grant type client credential, right? So similar kind of things that we are going to write in our PayPal configuration file. So now let's start creating our PayPal configuration file. So here in our code, first of all, at the root level, inside our lib folder, here we are going to create another file as paypal.ts. So here, first of all, we need our base URL, the base API URL. So here I'll create a variable const base, and we are going to get this value from our constant file, which is our PayPal API URL. And this is going to be imported from our constant file. Now here we have our base value for our PayPal API URL. And if we don't have this PayPal API URL, then we are going to pass the default value as apim sandbox.paypal.com. Okay, so this is our base API, base URL. And after that, once you are calling our API methods, here just we have to pass our required APIs. Okay, now here first of all, let me create a PayPal variable. So here export const PayPal, and in this PayPal we are going to have two functions. One is the create order, and another one create payment. Okay, create order, which would be a sync function create order, and inside this we are going to pass our total price. So here price, and that would be type of number. Okay, and for the time being I'm simply returning price. And the second function which we need is create payment, async function create payment, and inside this we are going to pass our order ID, which we would be getting from our PayPal. So this would be order ID, that would be type of string. And be remember that this order ID is not the order which we have created in our database. This order ID is related with order created inside our PayPal. Okay, I'll tell you later on. I'll let you know the differences between both of the order once we will implement it. But for now, simply just go ahead. And here we are going to return order ID simply. Okay, we will implement it a bit later, these two functions. Okay, and these two, create order and create payment, need access token. These two functions cannot be called until unless we don't have the access token. So now we are going to create another function as generate access token, right? So now here we are going to create another function as sync function generate access token. Okay, and inside this, and here inside this function, let me use that code which we have in our documentation. So here this is our access token function. Now I'm going to copy few things from here, right? Now let's paste it inside our generate access token. So here this is our client ID and this is our client secret. We are going to get our client ID from PayPal client ID, right? We have our variable, right? and here we have our variable as PayPal app secret. PayPal app secret. Okay. Now we got this auth, and this endpoint URL is nothing. This is our base URL, right? So we are going to replace with this base. Okay. And now in this data, directly we are going to pass this our grant type equal to client credential, and we will remove this line. Okay. Now this fetch API is going to return the response. So here const response, and now we are going to check, and here we should use await, and now we will check our response here. If response.ok, then we are going to return response.json. Okay, simply return response.json. If you see here inside our documentation, see here they are returning the response.json, right? So this response.json is returning a promise, and again from this promise they are getting the access token from this JSON. Okay, so now let's use this in our function. So here I'm going to create another function as async function handle response. Okay, and inside this we are going to pass response, type of response, and here we are going to check if response.ok. Let's cut this and paste it here. Okay, if response.ok, then return response.json, else get our error message here, const error message equal to await response.text. Okay, response.text is going to return the error message in case of any error. And what we will do here, once we will get our error message, throw new error with our this error message. Okay, and we are going to call this handle response function right here. So here const JSON data equal to await handle response. Okay, and inside this we are going to pass our response. And once we get this JSON data, and here we have our access token. So here we are going to return JSON data dot access token. Okay, all right. Now we need this access token in both of our function, create order and create payment. Now let's further build our create order and create payment function as well. Now let me quickly show you how they have implemented their create order. And so let's start with first create order. So here we should be having our create order function. See, this is the create order, right? So here first of all we need our access token. See, this is our access token, and then inside our data we need to pass this order data JSON. We need to stringify this our order data JSON and pass inside our body, right? So here inside our create order function, first of all we need our access token, and after that we need to call this our endpoint. Okay, now let's call this our fetch API first. So copy this, and here inside our create order function I'll paste it, and here let's remove this comment, and this would be post, right? Sorry, this would be base. And but before that we need our access token. See, here we need our access token. So here const access token equal to generate access token, await generate access token. Now here we will be having our access token, replace this with our access token. Okay, and inside our body we need to pass this data, right? So let's see what is there inside our data. So if you see here inside our data we have this intent, right? Intent and purchase unit. Okay, so now let's pass this. Here inside our body we need to first use our json.stringify, and inside this function we are going to pass our object here, right? So this is our object intent. Here we are having our intent as capture. So here I'm going to use intent as capture, and the purchase unit will be, let's remove this single colon from the field. All right, now here we have our purchase unit, currency code is USD, and value would be this price. Okay, let's pass our price over here, and now we will remove all those things, it's not needed. And here this fetch API is going to return the response. So here const response equal to fetch API. Now here we have created our function as handle response, right? So simply we are going to return our handle response function. Okay, so what we are going to call this our return handle response function, and we are going to pass our this response inside this handle response function. Okay, here we are getting error as argument of type promise response is not assignable to parameter of type response. So here Okay, here we are calling our fetch API without our await, right? So it's not returning a promise. So we are going to call await. Now it's going to return a promise, okay? And we will pass in inside our handle response function, okay? So now our create order function is ready. And similarly, we are going to work on create payment as well. So here we need this generate access token in create payment. And now let me show you how they have created their create payment function. So this is, I think, create payment order, complete order, right? So this is the create payment in fact. So here we need our access token, and then after that we need this URL. Okay, so let's copy this and use in our code here. Okay, now this is going to return response, const response await fetch, right? And this is the access token is going to be replaced with this. Okay, and this endpoint URL is our base URL. Okay, and this is our order ID. Okay, so here we are going to pass our order ID, and here this request.body.intent is our capture intent. Okay, so intent is capture, right? And this line we can write in the form of template literal as well. So let me show you in the form of template literal. Here what we can do, simply we can use our this backtick sign, okay, and here dollar curly bracket base, and then we would be having this whole v2 checkout order, okay. And after that we need this order ID, okay. So here we are going to use our dollar sign and then order ID and then our intent capture, okay. And now we can remove these lines, it's not needed anymore then. All right, so both are fine. If you want to just string concatenation you can use, otherwise we can use this our template literals, okay. Now here we have our response and we are going to return our response this, okay. And here we can have this capture in small, that would be fine. Whether we are having in capital letter or small letter, it's fine because this is the intent, capture intent. So now the configuration related with our PayPal is completed. Here we have our create payment and here we have our create order, which is going to create an order inside our PayPal, and this create payment is going to fulfill the payment, okay. And this generate access token, which is going to be used inside our create order and create payment. All right, and this is the handle response function, which is going to return the response from both of the function create order and create payment. All right, now further we are going to create our server action in order to use this create order and create payment API function from PayPal, right? So now let's create our server action inside our action folder inside our order action, right? So here we are going to create another server action as export async create PayPal order, okay? Create PayPal order, and inside this we are going to pass order ID, and this order ID is our order ID from our database, okay, and that would be type of string, right? And now here first of all we need to check our order which we have created in our database. So let me make it this I in capital, okay. Now here we are checking our order. See here we are checking our order, so we are going to check our order in the same way here as well. So I'll give this order prisma.order.find first. I'll remove all these lines, okay. Now let's make everything in one line, right? Now here we have order. Now we will check here if our order is undefined, then we will throw an error, throw new error, order not found, okay. Else, and also be remember that if we have only single line inside this curly bracket, so we are not required to give this curly bracket, so we can remove this and we can write this in a single line, okay. That is also correct. Now if we have order, then what we are going to do, we are going to pass that order inside our create order which we have created inside our PayPal function, right? So now here const PayPal order equal to await PayPal. You remember that in the PayPal configuration we created a function as create order, right? And inside this we need to pass our price, and price would be coming from order dot total price, since order is having our total price, right? So here order dot total price, and this PayPal needs to be imported from PayPal, okay. What is this error? This is not type of decimal, okay. So now let's convert into the type of number here, okay. Now it's converted to the number. Now we have our PayPal order, right? And here inside this PayPal order, we have our PayPal order ID, right? Try to understand there are two different order. One order is that which we have created in our database, and another order which is created inside our PayPal, right? So this PayPal order is having PayPal order ID. Okay. So now here we are going to update this PayPal order ID in our database. If you remember that created a field as payment result in our order table. So we are going to update that field. Okay. So here await prisma.order.update, right? And inside this function, we are going to pass our condition that order is order ID, right? And data which we need to update is payment result, payment result. And inside this payment result, we are going to update our ID. So ID needs to be updated with PayPal order.id. Okay. PayPal order.id. Okay. Now the second thing, we need to have our email address. Email address, I'm going to pass it blank as of now. And we need to have our status, which I'm going to pass blank as of now. And price paid. Price paid, I'll pass it 0. Okay. And we are going to update this payment result once our order is confirmed. Okay. Once our order is paid inside our PayPal. At that time, we will update these fields. Okay. As of now, we are just updating our ID with PayPal order ID. Okay. And by using this PayPal order ID, we will approve our payment inside our PayPal. Okay. So now here we have updated our PayPal order ID. And after that, we are going to return message as return here success is true. And also we are going to return message as item order created successfully. Item order created successfully. Okay. And also we will return data as PayPal order ID. Okay. PayPal order dot ID, right? So we are going to return this whole things from here. So now our create PayPal order function is ready. Server action is ready. Now we are going to create another server action as approve PayPal order. So now our PayPal order ID created inside our PayPal, and by using this PayPal order ID, we are going to approve our payment inside PayPal. So here we need to create another function as our approve PayPal order. Okay. So here I'll create another function as approve PayPal order. Now here inside this function and this order ID here, approve PayPal order ID is expecting two order ID, right? One is this order ID which we have created inside our database, and another order ID which we have received from our PayPal. Okay. So inside our data, we are going to pass our order ID. Okay. And that would be type of string. So see here, this order ID, here we have in order ID, this D is small and here ID, both are in capital letter, and this order ID is from our PayPal order ID. Okay. Just to differentiate in between both of the order ID. Fine. Now inside our function here we are going to use our try catch block, try catch. And if you remember that here we have not used our try catch block, right? So let's use our try catch block. That's so inside our catch block, we should be having this, right? Let's copy this. Let's replace this with complete catch block. Okay. And the same thing that we are going to use this inside our previous function as well. Cut this entire thing from here and paste it. Okay. Now we have handled our error properly here. Now inside this our try block. So here inside our approve PayPal order, we need order, right? So we are going to copy this line and paste it here, right? So now here we have our order, and also here we have our order ID which we have received from our PayPal. Now we are going to call our function from PayPal as const capture data equal to await PayPal dot create payment. Okay. Now we are going to call our create payment function, and here we need to pass this our order ID, this order ID that is coming from our data dot order ID. So this would be from data dot order ID. Okay. And now here we will check if this we have received the data inside our capture data or not. So now here we are going to check first if we have this capture data is undefined, or capture data dot status is not completed. So here capture data dot status is not equal to completed. This status is completed, only the payment would be done. If payment is done successfully, then only we are getting this completed status. Okay. Or also we need to check if our capture data dot id is not equal to, and here we have to match with our order id which we have stored inside our database. See here, this is the id which we have stored. We have updated our order table, so we have to match this order id over here. Okay, so here we are going to match with order dot payment result as payment result. Okay, payment result. Now let's quickly create this payment result type inside our types file. Create our type as payment result. So I'll copy this and here paste it and type for payment result. Okay, and this would be payment result, and here we are going to create a schema for our payment result schema, and we are going to create this schema inside our validator. See here, this is our validator file, and here we are going to create a schema as payment result schema. I'll copy this and here I'll paste it, and this our payment result schema, and here we have inside our payment result field as id, email address, and we have our price paid and status. Okay, now we will remove this from here. Right now here we have our payment result schema, and inside our type we can import it here, and we can infer this, and we can create our type as payment result. Now we are going to use this our payment result inside our order action file here, right? So here we can import our payment result from types. Right now from this order payment result we need id, right? So what we will do, whole thing that we are going to wrap inside a bracket, right? Let me minimize this, and from here we can get the id. Okay, see, now we are getting our id, and this would be payment result. Okay, if all these conditions are not matching, if any of these conditions match, if capture data is undefined, or status is not completed, or id doesn't match, then in that case we are going to return the error as throw new error in PayPal payment. Okay, and once our order is paid inside our PayPal, then we have to update our order and product table as well. So now let's see how we can do that. So here I'm going to create a function as update order to paid. Okay, so I'll create another function over here as export async function update order to paid, and inside this function I'm going to pass two things, order ID and payment result. Okay, so here we am going to pass as order ID and payment result. Okay, and both would be type of, let me just define their type as well here. This order ID is going to be type of string, and this payment result is going to be type of payment result. Okay, and inside this function, first of all we need to find out our order. So here we will copy this line and we will paste it here. Okay, now here we have our order, and now here we will check if our order is already paid or not, right? So here if order dot is paid, then throw new error, order is already paid. Okay, now here we need to update our order table as well as product stock, right? So we need to remove the items from the product stock, their quantity, as well as we need to update our order which is paid as of now. So we will mark it as a paid. Okay, so now let's do that. So in order to add both of the updates together, so we have to use our transaction. So now here we are going to use our transaction, await prisma dot dollar sign, and then we are going to use our transaction. Okay, and inside this we have a sync, we will pass our fat arrow function, and inside this we will pass our transaction. Okay, and top of this transaction we will perform each and every action. Now here first of all we will update our product stock, update all products stock. So what we will do, from this order items we are going to iterate each and every items, and we will update it. Okay, and we will reduce their stock. So here for const item of order items, right? order items. We are going to iterate each and every item over here. Now inside this for loop, here we are going to use await transaction.product.update. Okay. So here we need to update our product table for each and every item, right? So how we can do that? Where product ID equal to item.product ID. Okay. Item.product ID, right? And what we need to update? Data, and we are going to update our stock, right? Stock, and what we are going to do? We are going to use our increment with minus quantity, right? Increment minus item dot quantity dot qty. Okay. Why this is giving an error? Because we have not wrapped this inside a, so here we are missing a bracket. Okay. No, this transaction or dot update, let's remove this first. Okay, Control X and remove this one, and inside this we are going to pass our all the conditions. Still it's giving error. Okay, so this is misspelled. This would be async, right? Hopefully this should be fine. Async transaction. Okay, fine. So now this order item as order array, fine. And this order item needs to be imported from our types. Order item does not exist. Why this order item does not exist? Okay, because here we have not given the condition that we need to include our order item as well, right? So here after where clause we have to include order items true. Okay, order items true. Now here we should be getting our order items. Now this needs to be fixed. Okay. Yep, now it's fine. So now here we are updating our product table. We are simply reducing our stock with their item quantity, right? So this is going to reduce their quantity by the quantity which they have been ordered. Okay. Now the second thing, now let me just remove all these unwanted lines from here. So it would be neat and clean. So this would be our await, and here we have our for, and this would be our first one. Okay, now let's save it. So here we have updated our product table. Now we are going to update our order table. Okay, so now here await transaction dot order dot update, and what we are going to update over here, first of all we have to give our where clause, and inside this we are going to pass our id as order id. Okay, and the second thing which we are going to update our data, and the data would be we are going to mark each paid as true. Okay, and the second thing paid at new date. Okay, and also we need to update our payment result. All right, so we are going to update all these three fields inside our order table. Now these two updates are coming inside our transaction. Okay, after that what we can do here, we can fetch our order table with this order id, the latest updated data, and we can send a mail to the user. Okay, so now here I'm going to do fetch updated order and send mail to the user for their order confirmation. Okay, that we are going to do in our upcoming session. This is confirmation. Okay, so and this is fetch. So on the basis of this updated order table, first of all we are going to generate our receipt, and then that receipt we are going to send mail to the user. Okay, but for the time being I'm not doing it as of now. That part we are going to do in a later section, and for the time being I'm going to call this update order to paid function, and here we are going to call our update order to paid function, and here await, and inside this update order to paid function we are going to pass all the values, right? So we are going to pass our order id, and second thing we have to pass our payment result, right? Payment, see here second parameter which we have here is payment result, right? So now here we have to pass our payment result and all the values for the payment result. So here we have our id which is going to come from our capture data.id. Okay, capture data.id, and second thing we have our status, and that would be coming from our capture data dot status. Okay, now the third thing is our email address. So email underscore address, which would be coming from our capture data dot pair dot email address. Okay, I'll show you this, the capture data. I'll log here, or let me just log this capture data over here, console.log, and here capture data. Okay, and we will see this, what the values are coming inside our capture data from our PayPal. Okay, now here the last thing, which is our price paid inside our PayPal, and which is going to come from our capture data dot purchase units, and from the first array of this purchase units dot payments dot captures, and from the first array of the captures amount dot value. So from these fields we are going to get our price paid from our PayPal. Okay, so now here we have successfully updated our order table as well, and once it is updated, then we are going to revalidate our order page. Okay, so here our revalidate path, and which path we are going to revalidate as order and order ID, which is order ID, right? And once it is revalidated, then we can return our message, return success true, and message your order has been paid. All right, now let's remove all these space, it's not needed. And yep, what is this error we are getting here on top? Okay, so this order items not needed, remove this item also not needed, remove this. And why we have this create order over here, remove this, it's not needed. Right, now it should be fine. Yep, now error gone. Let's review it once again. So this is our create order, that which we have created in our earlier session, and this is our create order by ID, and this is create PayPal order, create PayPal order. So this is going to create our PayPal order by using our ID from our database, and this is our approve PayPal order, approve PayPal order, right? And once this order is approved, our capture data received, then after that we are updating our product table as well as our order table, right? And once it is successfully updated, we are revalidating this and we are returning our status. Fine. Now we are going to use these to create PayPal order and approve PayPal order inside our PayPal button. So if you remember that, we have our PayPal button created. Now let's go to our PayPal button, which we have created inside our app, root, and order. And here we have our order detail, right? And here if you see, here we have our created PayPal button. Now, if you remember that we commented this create order and approve order, right? So now we are going to uncomment it and we are going to use it. Simply, we will attach our server action, this create order and approve order. Okay. So here I'm going to create two functions as handle create PayPal order. Okay. PayPal order, and here handle approve PayPal order. And now let's create these two functions here on top, here right before our return. So here we are going to use our function as const handle create PayPal order equal to async, and we are going to pass our fat arrow function, and inside this function simply we are going to call our server action. So here const response equal to await create PayPal order, create PayPal order, right, which we have created, and inside this simply we are going to pass our order ID. So here order dot ID. Let's import this function create PayPal order. It should be already imported. See, this is already imported from our order action. Okay, and this order ID which we are passing from inside our component. Okay, now this, once we get our response, then we will use our toast and we will show the message. Okay, and here I'll just put a comment, so message, and after that we are going to here return our response, return response dot data. That's it. Okay. And similarly, we are going to create another function, handle approve PayPal order. Approve PayPal order. And here, this would be our approve PayPal order. It should be imported from our order action. And here in this handle approve PayPal order, we need to pass our order ID, PayPal order ID, right? So here data, and we are going to pass our order ID. Order ID would be type of string. Okay. And here in this approve PayPal order, we are going to pass our order ID and data. Okay. This needs to be imported, right? And now let's show the message as well in our toast. So let's try to find out where we are using our toast. So we are using our toast here inside our cart table. Okay. So we are going to use this import toast from sooner. Here we are going to import our toast from sooner, and we are going to use this toast success. Okay. We are going to use this one. Okay. Now, so here if any error will come, if error.success is false, then here we are going to show the message as toast.error. Okay. And we are going to show the error message here, right? Otherwise, we are going to return the response from here. And inside our handle approve PayPal order, here we are going to check if this response.success is true, then we are going to show the message as toast.success, and we are showing the response, right? Else we are going to show the error, toast.error. Okay. All right. And these two, handle create PayPal order and handle approve PayPal order, is associated with our PayPal button event. See here we have our PayPal button, and inside this create order and on approve order, both are associated with this create PayPal order and approve PayPal order event. Now most of the changes are done related with the PayPal. Now we can test our application. So go to our application now. Here, this is our local environment. Now let's refresh this. See here we are seeing our loading PayPal. Yep, now our PayPal button is loaded, and once we will click on this PayPal button, our PayPal event will be initiated. Now see, our PayPal event is getting initiated. Now here it will ask to put our email ID and password. So it's first asking to log in into the PayPal. Okay. So here I'm going to provide my email ID and password. So now let's find out first my personal email ID and password. So here inside our testing tool, Sandbox. Okay, it's asking for password. So here I'm going to get my message inside my mobile. Let's see. So this would be our 72 43 48. Okay, submit. Now here I can get my email ID and password for my personal account. So this is my personal account, and let's open this. And here this is my email, right? So let's copy this and use it in our payment here. So this is my email ID. Continue, and we need to put our password. So let's get our password here. Copy this and paste it here. Okay. Now log in. Hopefully it would be successfully logged in. Now it's getting logged in. See, 175.98 USD, 175.98 USD, which is getting converted into the pound, 140.66 pound, right? And I'm going to use my PayPal balance. Now let's capture our payment. Oh, perfect. Yeah. See now, this is being paid. Now status has been changed as a paid at 26th of March, 6:17, right? Now, if we can see our Sandbox account here, let me just refresh this. We should be seeing, see here, now 140 pounds got deducted from here my account. Okay. And if you see inside my business account, let me show you my business account. Here, this is my business account, and here we should be seeing some 6,140, something like that. See here now, 6,126 pound, right? So 126 pound was being added over here. Now let's do one more time. So now go to the application. Here add a few more items to the cart. So now let's add this time Carlo high shoes. Now let's add this item to the cart, and now go to the cart. Now here we are in the cart. Now let's add one more quantity here. So total we have $171, right? Now proceed to checkout. Now we are on shipping address page, continue. Now payment method as PayPal, continue. Now we are on place order page, now place order. Now if you see here, order got created. Here we are seeing our order ID, right? And it's total $188.98. Now we are going to PayPal, payment, and see here, this 188.98 USD dollar is coming as a 151.05 GBP, right? And now we are going to complete this purchase. So this 151 needs to be deducted from my personal account and needs to be added in my business account. Now this order has been paid. Now quickly see here inside our Sandbox account. Here now we have 126, right? Now if I refresh this, it should be increased. See, now it got increased by 262.58. And if I see my personal account, so this is my personal account, sorry. So inside my personal account, now you see here, the amount got deducted from my personal account. Okay. So now we have successfully implemented our PayPal payment. And also I would like to show you that how we are updating our database. So now let's open our Prisma Studio. And here, one more thing I would like to show you. See here, this is our capture data, right? If you see here, this is our order ID, which is being created inside our PayPal, and status we are getting inside our capture data as status, right? And here we are getting our payment source and purchase unit, okay? And here we are payer as we are getting as a email address over here, okay? So by this email address I have paid, right? And now if you see here, this is our PayPal order where we are getting this order ID, PayPal order ID, and we are getting this status as created, okay? Now let me open another terminal here and run our command as npx Prisma Studio. Here npx Prisma Studio, okay? Now open our Prisma Studio. Now if you see here, we have our order table, right? And if you see this payment result, so I did these two payments successfully completed, and let me just maximize it. See here we are getting this order ID. This is the PayPal order ID, right? And this status completed, price paid $188.98, and email address, from this email address this amount is paid, okay? And other fields, if you see here, we have our each paid. See here, each paid got updated as true. Both of the record is being updated as true, and here we have updated our timestamp paid at, okay? But if you see, this is not delivered because this delivered field needs to be updated by admin or by the seller. All right. Now here you see we are maintaining all the orders inside our database, but user cannot see their orders. So in our next session, we are going to create our show order page, as well as user can update their profile as well. Okay. So friends, that's all for this session. And at the end of this session, friends, if you found this tutorial helpful, do me a favor, like this video to support me and my channel, and subscribe my channel if you haven't already done for more technical videos like this. And please share this with your fellow developer who might find it useful. And if you really love my work, then consider buying me a coffee to support for more free tutorials. Link is given below in the description. Alright, that's all for the day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care and keep learning.